Honorable Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar sir, our very own Vijay Gupchup sir, governing body member of VIT, respected Sanjeevani ma'am, Vishwas sir, Rashmi ma'am, and our other trustees, respected Director Milind Tarvalkar sir, Principal Dr. Patekar sir, distinguished guests, respected teachers, and dear students. Good morning. I am extremely pleased to be here in this session on building India as a science, technology, and innovation superpower. I would request Dr. Mashelkar sir and Dr. Sanjeevani ma'am to light the lamp of knowledge. I would also request Dr. Ankush Sharma sir to accompany them with 2 student volunteers to join in lighting the lamp of knowledge.
या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शंकर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेष जाड्यापहा.
Thank you, Dr. Mashelkar sir, Sanjeevani ma'am, and Ankush sir, lighting the lamp of knowledge. I would now invite Surya Narayanan sir, Dean of Corporate Relations, to deliver the welcome address.
Thanks, Radhika. A very good morning to all. Our chief guest and the keynote speaker of today's program, Honorable Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar, Chairperson of Vidyalankar Gyanpith Trust, Dr. Sanjeevani Deshpande, Principal VIT, Dr. S.A. Patekar, Head of the Department of MMS, Dr. Ankush Sharma, dignitaries Dr. Vijay Gupchup, former Principal VJTI, and our governing body member of Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Shri Vishwas Deshpande, Srimati Rashmi Deshpande, and other members of our trust. Our special invitees on the occasion, principals, faculty members, and our dear students. It's my proud to perform the pleasant task of welcoming all to today's program on technology. Tonight, to have amongst us today Dr. Mashelkar, Fellow of Royal Society, London, National Research Professor, President of Global Research Alliance, and General of CSIR. He has been honored with Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan. In the post-liberalized India, Dr. Mashelkar has played an important role in shaping India's science and technology policies. He is a doyen in the field of research and management. He is looked upon as an iconic figure in science, technology, and innovation. He has authored several books. One of his recent and popular book, Reinventing India, is about re-emergence of India in the global knowledge network. Our institute and Vidyalankar Group as such is in the process of bulk buying of his books. His concern for education and scientific research is very well known. Sir, you are accepting our invitation and being present here today is no doubt a great honor for all of us and our institute too. I am sure the audience here is gripped with excitement to hear a man of your stature, sir. we have immense pleasure in extending a very, very warm welcome to you, sir, to Vidyalanka campus this morning. Sir, we shall remain indebted to you. I have a great pleasure in welcoming you all to the most eagerly awaited event and talk at our campus. No doubt, we will all leave this hall more enlightened after having listened to your words of wisdom, sir, on building India as a science, technology, and innovation superpower. Thank you.
Thank you, Suryanarayan sir, for a heartfelt welcome. I would now invite Vishwas sir, our managing trustee, to facilitate Dr. Mashelkar on behalf of Vidyalankar Jnanpeeth Trust. Thank you, Vishwas sir. I would request Dr. Sanjeevani ma'am, Chairperson VDT, an academician throughout her life, to share words of wisdom.
I would like to reinforce it, confirm it, offer my very own, and on behalf of Vidyalankar again, a very, very hearty welcome, and let you know and re-emphasize this, that we are extremely honored and extremely happy to have you here, sir. And my dear friends, he has already talked about his scholarship, and it is not from one quarters alone that I have known of what he is. My two physicist brothers, my sister, Dr. Joshi, who has probably you know her, sir, I don't know, I'm not sure. She wasn't sure whether you knew her, but she of course has known you for quite some time, because she is now working with Dr. Ashok Vaidya at that Ayurveda institution. She had apprised me long time back, ever since, of the Golden Triangle and of the patents that you have procured back for us and the work that you have done for us, his scholarship, his administrative ability, his interest in us as Indians, that cannot be simply denied. That is what he is. And it is quite some daring required on my part to talk in front of him. Once Dr. Ankush told me about the theme as to what he was going to talk of. Excuse me if I'm being a little personal, but I remember the good old days when my father, sir, long before the pressure cookers came into the market, he had improvised a system, and we had started the use of pressure cooker in order to save my mother's time and in order to save everybody's time. He had started the use of pressure cooker nearly 8 to 10 years before the cooker was marketed. It was at that time that my father had instilled into us some different thinking, out of the box thinking, something very different. And it was not in the kitchen alone that he worked. We had several gadgets at home like that. That is it. Now to talk of scientific methodology. Actually, this started only with Isaac Newton, probably. Isaac Newton, who systematized the whole of science, and who said that facts should be accepted as facts only if they are verified through experimentation. And then this factor brought in industrial revolution, to the Western world, when all those Western world nations, they became very rich, and there was a divide in the world. When the world became, there was a divide in the world, the haves and the have-nots, what Bernard Shaw has said, the developed and the underdeveloped world. It was a tremendous impact, and the Westerners, they became rich, they were very wealthy, with property. The individuals over there, they had lots of comforts and lots of conveniences. Science takes a long time because these ideas are few and far between. The next great impact came in the last century, in the earlier part of the 20th century, with Albert Einstein, Heisenberg, Bohr, the whole lot of them, when they changed the entire generation. The physicists themselves, they had to change their perception of the world. And then we know what happened. Technology grew at an incredible and a phenomenal extent. All of us are bearing fruits. We know what has happened, and technology has walked into every single area of human concern. It has entered into the kitchen, into the society. Our ideas of religion have changed. We have different interpretations for the supernatural. We have, and about health and transport and communication, there is no end to it. Today we are seeking habitation in the space outside this world, into other planets. That is what we are looking for today. That is our technology. And technology can be emulated a little more easier than the ideas of science. This technology has led to the phenomena what is called globalization. And we cannot think in isolation. No single nation can ever think in isolation now. The whole lot of us are under one scrutiny. It is teamwork that is important now, not we individually seeking honors and laurels for our own selves. That is not important. The entire concept has changed. So that is what technology is. Once upon a time, we people, even now as a matter of fact, we people as Indians have been very proud of our ancient Indian culture. We have been very proud. We talk about our Ayurveda, we talk about our zero, that our people gave us, that is what we believe. But that ancient civilization and culture did not sustain. One of the major reasons the learned people give, why it did not sustain was that we did not abide by scientific methodology. Today, the technology and science, they are hammered into us. Change is inevitable. Change is what? Obligatory, mandatory. Whether we like it or not, we are changing. We have to change at a very, very fast speed. And what Vishwas so many times says, that even in order to maintain our status quo, we have to keep on running at a very, very fast pace. So that is what we need to do. Life is given to us. Survival is not. We have to work towards our own survival with robust optimism, and then alone can we survive. Thank you very much, sir. We would indeed like you to come back and visit us again and again and again. Thank you. Thank you.
Sanjeevani ma'am that was particularly inspiring. Creativity is thinking of new things. Innovation is doing new things. On this note, let me give you a brief introduction of our esteemed guest of honor today. Dr. R.A. Mashelkar, FRS, National Research Professor, is the President of Global Research Alliance, a network of publicly funded R&D institutions from Asia Pacific, Europe, and USA with over 60,000 scientists. Dr. Mashelkar served as the Director General of CSIR with 38 laboratories and about 20,000 employees for over 11 years. He was also the President of Indian National Science Academy and President of Institution of Chemical Engineers, UK. Dr. Mashelkar is on the board of directors of several reputed organizations such as Reliance Industries Limited, Tata Motors Limited, Hindustan Unilever Limited, ICICI Knowledge Park, Piramal Life Sciences Limited, amongst many others. He is a member of the Scientific Advisory Board of the Microsoft. Dr. Mashelkar is only the third Indian engineer to have been elected in the year 1998 as Fellow of Royal Society, that is FRS, London in the 20th century. In August 97, Business India named Dr. Mashelkar as being among the 50 path breakers in post-independent India. In 98, in the year 98, Dr. Mashelkar won the J.R.D. Tata Corporate Leadership Award, the first scientist to win it. On 16th November 2005, he received the Business Week USA Award of Stars of Asia at the hands of George Bush Sr., the former president of USA. He was the first Asian scientist to receive it. Deeply connected with the innovation movement in India, Dr. Mashelkar is currently the chairman of India's National Innovation Foundation, Reliance Innovation Council, Thermex Innovation Council, and Medical Innovation Foundation. 30 universities have honored him with honorary doctorates, which include Universities of London, Salford, Pretoria, Wisconsin, and Delhi. Dr. Mashelkar has been propagating a culture of innovation and balanced intellectual property rights regime for over a decade. Dr. Mashelkar has won over 50 awards and medals, which include S.S. Bhatnagar Prize, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru Technology Award, J.D. Birla Scientific Research Award, Material Scientist of the Year Award, Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence in Public Administration and Management Sciences, Lifetime Achievement Award by Indian Science Congress, and many more. The President of India has honored Dr. Mashelkar with Padma Shri in 91 and with Padma Bhushan in 2000. These are the two of the highest civilian honors in recognition of his contribution to nation building. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us to welcome Dr. Mashelkar sir to kindly enlighten us on building India as a science, technology, and innovation superpower.
Most respected Sanjeevani Tai, the leadership, the senior leadership of this wonderful institution, my very old friend, very dear friend, indeed my guru, Professor VIT Guest, whom I met after quite a while. My young friends, ladies and gentlemen, May I first thank you for this great opportunity that you have given me to share my thoughts with you. I entered this institution for the first time, I must say, and something that struck me is the following. When great institutions are built, there are two things that are important. The first is ambience, and the second is ambition. Ambience without ambition is of no consequence. Ambition without ambience is of no consequence. So the first thing that you see as soon as you enter is this fantastic ambience. Very rarely have I seen a modern educational institution having the kind of creative, exciting, stimulating ambience that you are having. But coupled with that, in the brief discussion that I had so far, I find that ambition. And that ambition is to recognize the fact that teaching without research is sterile, and therefore we want to be known not as a teaching institution which also does research, but as a research institution which also does teaching. I think that's a fantastic and Sanjay, you are a living example of that ambition. You know, to be able to do a PhD and acquire this doctoral degree at this age, I think requires something very, very special. It requires a deep commitment. In fact, her modest reply when I congratulated her, when I met her for the first time, was anyway, it had to be done, it was too late. So I like that. I like that. So I think you are blessed. You are blessed with a fantastic leadership, with such vision. You are blessed with such an ambition. You are blessed with such an ambience. And who can stop you? I think they say there is no limit to human imagination. There is no limit to human achievement, excepting the limits that you put on yourself. So for heaven's sake, don't put any limits on growth in terms of the status that you will require, not just in Mumbai, not in Maharashtra, not in India, but globally. I think that's what we should be basically aiming at. I've chosen the topic today as India's dream. How do we build India as a science, technology, and innovation superpower? I'm not talking about India as an economic superpower. I'm not talking about India as a military superpower. I'm just talking about a fundamental. And the fundamental is building India as a science, technology, and innovation superpower. Your 10-minute address was most eloquent in terms of the meaning it carried on bringing the meaning of science and the importance of science historically, Sanjay. It was really wonderful. And there has been this resolve right from Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's time. When the country was poor, he created institutions. Don't forget, he created IITs when we were poor. He created IIMs, Indian Institute of Management, when we were poor, so as to say. And this entire issue about education being the key, you know, for our growth, for our future, for our development, for our rising as a nation, was something that was very clear to me. Very interesting. Just 3 months ago, there was a discussion among the scientists about what is the most powerful equation that has emerged from science ever. So somebody said Newton, F equal to ma, force equal to mass into acceleration. All of you know. Somebody said no. It is Einstein. E equal to mc square. E is energy, m is mass, c is velocity of light. Right? So like that it went on. Amazingly, all those equations which were ones which just had 2 or 3 terms. You can see the power resides in simplicity. It was an incredible experience even for me as I was listening. Then finally they came to me They said, what do you think, Dr. Mashelkar? I said, none of the above. So they wondered, I know something which is beyond Newton and Einstein. I said, yes, it's very simple. It's a very simple equation, but the most powerful. It is E equal to F. So everybody got puzzled. What is E? What is F? So I said, E is education and F is future. Education is equal to future. Without education, no future for an individual, for the society, for a nation. Now many nations have recognized it, way ahead of India, by the way. 40 years ago, South Korea and India were at the same level in terms of economic development, GDP per capita. Today, South Korea's GDP is 15 times more than India's. Just on the 4th of August, I was in Seoul, Korea. There is this World Congress on Chemical Engineering, held every 4 years, like World Cup. Some 2,000, 2,500 chemical engineers from around 50 countries gather every year. And they had asked me to give the opening plenary talk. And I remember I began my talk by acknowledging them, how they had made that progress. You know how they did that? They recognized the equation E equal to F. And the investment that they made in higher education were absolutely incredible. And the results are there for all of you to see. That is as far as the nation is concerned. What about an individual? Because having the beauty about science is once you propose an equation, you have to prove it, right? So I give you the example of Korea in India at a national level to prove it. I must give an example on individual level. I say no future for individuals, no future for society, no future for nation. Nation I have proved. Let's come to individuals. Very interesting. I'll prove it by giving a simple example. 1st October 2011 was a very interesting day. On that day, the American Academy of Arts and Science honors the fellows that get elected. And those fellows get elected from all around the world, by the way. It's supposed to be a very special honor. And on that day, you sign in that book. Interestingly, this American Academy was set up in 1780. By whom? By George Washington and Benjamin Franklin. Who have been its members? From Charles Darwin to Winston Churchill, and from Einstein to Nelson Mandela. More than 200 Nobel laureates, Pulitzer Prize winners have been its members. They will say, that is fine, but how many Indians have been? From 1780, only 7. And what happened was that the 6th and the 7th Indian signed the book on that. The 6th Indian had got it in 2010, but he couldn't make it, so he came in 2011. And these 2 Indians signed the book. You know who was the 6th Indian? It was Ratan Tata. And do you know who was the 7th Indian? It was me. What is special about it? And how does it prove equal to F? Because still don't forget, let us not lose track of the fact as to what I am trying to prove. The interesting thing was that we signed one after the other on the same page. Okay? Go back to 1960, when I had done my SSC. I had stood 11th in the Maharashtra board among 135,000 odd students. And I was about to leave my education, because my poor mother could not sort of afford my education. I was born in a very poor family. I walked barefoot until I was 12. I studied under street lights. 2 meals a day was a big challenge. And I was the only son of my mother. So I said, and she was working.